Captain Sinclair. I hope your ship is well. That only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. In the deep digital high seas, we travel with ease until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very speed hill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go beyond the outer limits of society, protesting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show. It's from WPRPN, you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Dock our vessels in the Skullport Harbor. No land lovers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a tricky kill haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys to our latest weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 331. I'm your host as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is the website. You'll want to drop by, take a look at, check out all the various web links we have in place. The show description end of things, also something that may interest you if you like to support us. We do have a Patreon presence, merchandise available via galacticfire.com, along with a couple of other outlets, and Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. That's pirate the numeral 1 radio at protonmail.com. Our email address, if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas you'd like to bounce off of us, or for that matter, PayPal support, always appreciated. Half of everything that we do manage to generate goes back to the grassroots, something that a lot of people may not know about. A lot of other shows don't even really bother to promote or embrace, but we do, very much in conjunction, of course, and in the spirit of hashtag WWRHD, what would Robin Hood do? Ethos and philosophy. So liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit the subscription notification buttons. Actually blast away on those subscription and notification buttons with your blunderbuss. How about that? Huh? All these other shows, you hear them talk about over and over again, relentlessly smash that that notification and subscription, the two buttons. We blast away, however, here down in Skullport Harbor with our blunderbuss virtual weaponry and muskets and what have you. So look out for those cannons. You don't want those to unload on you. It could be big trouble, of course. So leaving, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to pass word along to friends, family, and co-workers. That's a few of the ways you can help us out, engage the show, and support what we're doing here. So always appreciate it. Okay. In the meantime, as we roll along here via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas, over to the co-hosts and commentators, friends, and of the show and commentators that we have on board this go round. Looking at initially it was just Vinny out of Brooklyn, but we've got Sonia now out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Yvonne, courtesy of Quitlam, Vancouver, Canada. So before we get a chance to bring the three of you on camera, uh, we've got to tend to a few behind the scenes uh, matters. So why don't each of you have at it, starting? I don't know if you want to do it alphabetically. The rock, paper, scissors thing, it's kind of, it doesn't always play out that well here with nobody seeing what's really going on exactly. Yeah, it's a little too timely. We've already kicked this off, well over 20 minutes after the fact. So not that that should worry the people who managed to catch what we've put together here this week via the archived end of things. But and Roger Hansen now too, the scene pop up here in on Teams. We've only got 60 minutes before they shut us down. We have to boot up another hour. Just the way they've got their format and approach running at present, after having transitioned from Skype into what they are calling Microsoft Teams. Wonderful. So, Yvonne, why don't we hear from you first? It's mostly because you're kind of we never know how long we're going to have you and when you're going to take off. So, in fact, you know what?
Yeah.
Why don't we do you a solid and we'll bring everybody up on camera. I'm not sure if you'd go so far as to say actually that I lied, but just rethinking things here, it makes sense to maybe let people take a look at who they're dealing with exactly. So have at it, Yvonne.
How you doing
Introduction.
there, Jaffe?
Just peachy, just wonderful. So have at it, introduction time, round the horn, and
Sure.
we'll see where it leads from there.
My name's Yvonne. I'm in Coquitlam, Canada. Happy to be here. And I work as an interfaith pastoral counselor and life coach. And, first half hour is always free. And harpo.ca is our website. I'll post that. And if you have any questions or want to have a quick half hour session, try it for free. It won't cost you anything. Feel free to engage me. I'm a friendly guy. And everything's confidential. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to assess the situation. So remember, there's hope. And we focus on mystery and grace. Thank you.
There is hope, and it's not just that little town a few miles north of Vancouver, is it?
Isn't that where First Blood was filmed?
I think it was. You're also coming through that we're addressing during the pre-show tech check end of things. That Honeywell bleed. I'm not sure what the deal is. If it's a new set of, is it headset or what it could be. It's a little
Was it
staticky.
now?
It's a little staticky. No.
I turned off the Honeywell
Oh, did you?
window.
Oh, it's still the same. It's like a fan or something is blowing. Is there a wind blowing through your apartment? That's really odd. Now, is that a new headset you're wearing?
Oh, really? I have this snowball thing I can
Yeah,
put
yeah.
so
Let's try to maybe just mute yourself out,
oh,
boot that up. Yeah, mute yourself out first, and we'll.
anyways, thanks a
You
lot.
betcha. Thank you. Harpo.ca. We're always sure to add that to the archived end of things. So, all right, Sonia Sonia Galactic via Phoenix, Arizona. For people out there, the newbies, this is maybe their first time listening to the show. Let's hear a little bit about you and galacticfire.com.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good?
We're doing
Yeah.
okay. You're looking pretty
Sweet.
spiffy.
Oh, thank you. I think it's the background.
It's great. Nice
I just
blend.
want to let you know, Jeff, that there are some folks trying to comment upon the Facebook video, and it says that you have limited who can comment. So maybe you can fix that real quick.
Damn.
Also, I do not see a YouTube coming on, so I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah.
D Live actually they were D Live through
It's looking
Restream.
good.
That's because it's going through Beam and the Restream. We were monkeying around with things here behind the scenes, just kind of playing around, seeing what works and what doesn't. And so people hopefully just ask that they remain patient. If D Live doesn't work for you, maybe jump on over to Facebook or Telegram, which we'll be booting up here momentarily.
Cool.
And what else are we looking at? We've got D Live, Telegram, Facebook, YouTube. I thought there was one more actually, but anyways.
I think Roger's going out. Roger's going out on a few other ones, I think.
Well,
so,
that's okay, good stuff. And,
We got Teams as well. Okay, is that better?
Teams.
Yeah, that is better.
That is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's way better. Like, yeah.
All right.
No, it was all the headphones, and so you sound just perfect. Okay.
Wait.
So
yeah, just not much news going on at the moment, actually. But my birthday's tomorrow. That's pretty exciting. Kind of new.
September 11th. What an awful time to have a birthday.
10th. I know it's the 11th for you or the 10th for you because you're in Korea. However, it is still the 9th here. So it's my birthday for you, but not for me yet.
Well, happy birthday to you. But what a downer after having such a great day on the 10th, and the next
Happy
day
birthday.
it's
Thank
just
you.
it's so sad that
yeah.
That's
well, that's kind of an everyday thing, huh? It's not like that, changes because we kind of know about that every day, that it drags on without truth being told, kind of thing.
Oh, you're talking about Israel's role in the whole business, kind of like with the Kennedy assassination, or have you dug down that far?
Right. No, not necessarily. I just know it's BS.
So. Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah.
The official story. There's always there's always the official story, and then there's the truth, right? So at least two versions of reality.
Right. It's kind of like reading the National Enquirer, for your news instead of a newspaper.
Here's what we want you to believe, and then again, here's how it really is. If you put, apply a little critical thinking.
But it's fiction, though. Of course, it has to be fiction.
Galactic Fire. Let's hear a little bit more about the website and the operations that you've got going on over there.
Well, I've just got some T-shirts up there, quite a few actually, and they're becoming more popular. Actually, I am going to be doing a little bit of taking a little marketing type of course, thanks to my friend Dan, who I met recently. And that should help a little bit, at least in organizing it a little bit more, and maybe reaching out to folks that aren't necessarily in the genre, this particular I guess, truth, John, or whatever you want to call
Uh
it.
huh.
So, so yeah, there's that. I'm excited about that, and I'll probably be revamping the website
Mm,
here pretty soon because of that.
good.
So yeah, that's pretty much the only news that I've got. We've got Jahan this Friday coming on as a guest, so
Right.
that's pretty exciting. He has the
Um,
Boundless Authenticity podcast.
that's
So
right.
yeah, very
Yeah.
very interesting guy for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll be all about bapping this Friday, and not to be confused with. Don't slip up with those consonants, guys. If to switch out the B for an F, you could be in big trouble. End up with a whole weekend full of fapping. And last night, yeah, last night, can you believe I actually finally, well, first heard about gooning? I'm not. Most people probably don't even know what that is yet.
Never.
It's
Yeah.
just it's just awful. I'm not even good. I'll leave
Uh,
it to, if you're curious, really curious, you can do a little web search, and it's just it's a mental kind of disorder, basically mental disorder. Unfortunately, people really out of balance. So, uh, but and that's what people like Yvonne, and I would say even most of the crew here are very helpful in providing support. uh, Basically the resources, the skills, the insight, the abilities that we all have. Each of us are unique set of tools and history, of course, what we bring to each of the live streams, and working together collectively problem solve, but then on a one-to-one basis, working with others, maybe more behind the scenes. That so many people out there really, it's awful, the way people get caught up in all kinds of really sidetracked. Drugs is that's what Ozzy Osbourne talked about. There's two really great things. All the great memories I have of Ozzy and watching him perform, and also whether with Sabbath or as a solo artist, or with the Osbournes, with any of the interviews that he did. Um, that talking about, if there's two things, what would you do differently if you had the chance to, just do it all over again? Is not do drugs. That was the number one. I think that was advice to some kids. He was quite honest about that too, and he'd been pretty clean and sober for a while, although he always struggled. It's really difficult for some people, clearly. So, and the second one was as a musician to practice. He said that to a young musician fan of his, who's really quite sweet. The way that his fan approached him, and his response was really, really beautiful. So, hashtag good karma wherever you are. Uh, Ozzy. John, I think, was his first name, was it not? John Osborne. But anyways, yeah, he's a born entertainer and
not sure.
comedian. No doubt about that. No doubt about that.
So
But
Keith, I think his first name.
what's that?
Keith, I believe, was his first name.
Keith. I don't. You have to look it up. I don't think that was it at all, actually. But John Osborne, but John Michael, John Michael. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, and we could potentially be having Robert Morningstar drop in with us here for the second hour. So stay tuned for that, folks. Host of the Morningstar Report, show that he puts out at least twice a week, typically via RBN, the RBN network, Revolution Radio, HomeNetwork.tv, and multitude of other places where people are able to hear his voice, his take, and breakdown of any number of the week's latest news of the week, or for that matter, just more long-standing issues that have been impacting society for a whole number of years. But Roger Hansen, yeah. So I think it was Sonia that just mentioned how we're having issues with reaching these other platforms. You've got us covered in some ways, though, with what you're doing there, the simulcasting and syndicating of the
Yeah,
show.
I got it on. I'm also streaming it on Rumble, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and share it on TLB Talk too, as well.
What's TLB Talk stand for?
Oh God, I forgot the actual and what the initials stand for, but it's it's the I don't know the freedom something. Yeah,
You said TLB. TLB. I'm thinking uh, could somebody come up with think of the acronym. This could be fun. It's like a one pirate doubloon to the first person who comes up with something creative and innovative. So,
all the red pills like to go on there, so I figured
oh,
I
red
would.
pills.
So I
I
figured
see.
I'd put it on there. PSEC and all of them.
The
They
it, the platform itself, it's called TLB.
TLB. It's the Liberty Broadcast Talk.
Ah,
Or,
the Liberty broadcast, or yeah, or the
yeah.
Liberty. Yeah, sure. Right. Okay. Good. Excellent. Thank
So
you. So
I just
hopefully, yes.
I figured it was worth doing because I'm not really posting anything else online here lately. So and I'm trying to stay away from a lot of these media outlets like Facebook and X and all them
Oh
because
yeah. So social media. Why is that?
just a bad
Ah, the
influence.
Liberty broadcast. Hang on a second here. I got to mute ourselves out here as we get ourselves. Okay, there we go. Just getting Telegram up and running. So, what were you saying about the bad influence of some of these outlets and platforms?
Well, all of them, to be honest,
How so?
you get caught up in
Yeah,
the the crazy Facebook things
yeah.
where all these people is posting, oh, this is happening and that's
Uh
happening,
huh.
and oh my goodness, my finger, I just stubbed my toe.
Yeah.
I miss my mama. She's been
Well,
dead 30 years and I just miss my mama.
well. Yeah, I limit my time as well as most of
I
you.
was I do have something cool though that I did figure out today.
What's that?
I was doing my modeling on Blender, and I'm listening to Mark Watashek's or Watashek's.
Rodriguez production. Yeah, Mark Rodriguez. That's right.
I was listening to his music that he sent me, and he actually did a song about his mama.
Oh yeah, AI,
Yeah,
I guess, right?
yeah, something to do with like Ghost and everything, and then he was in the song. It was about he was just talking about his mama, the way his mama used to do things and stuff. I'm like, he just made a mama song, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's crazy.
Mm. Do you know that when I was in Canada, speaking of mamas, my mother passed away this past January,
Hmm.
and I could be mistaken. Wouldn't really call it a nightmare so much as I was staying at my sister's place up in the central interior of British Columbia. Great spread that they've got there. She's a wealthy-ish, well-to-do, shall we say? Not wealthy, just pretty well-to-do. Her and her husband, now especially empty nest. They got that dink income that they're working. You ever heard of the
Hmm.
dink incomes?
Nuh-uh.
Double income, no kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they got some major dink action. happening there in the homestead. You know.
So this Friday, are we?
But hang on, let me finish the
Because
story before we get with Friday. I was sleeping
okay.
upstairs, and there's this place out in the country. Basically, it's a beautiful little spread, right with right under where you've got planes coming in,
Mhm.
bush planes as well as larger carriers like Air Canada and that sort of thing. A couple times a day, I guess. And you pray to God those things stay up in the air, because if they don't, they're like right there in the crosshairs of where there could be all hell breaking loose. But I was up on the second floor, and it was pretty comfortable, really beautiful. Uh, you know, all counts really. But I woke up in the middle of the night this one evening, and there was like, it seemed to me I perceived this kind of murky, muddy, dark-ish sort of presence mm, there by the bed, to my right side, the right
Mhm.
side of my bed, and it just had like a ghostly kind of feel to it, for sure. It could just be the mind playing tricks on itself, or it might have been something a little otherworldly. My takeaway from that, though, and I might be wrong, but it was that it had something to do with the spirit of my deceased mother, who had passed away in January, once again, back in January. So, you know, I've had that sort of experience, not with her. That was the first time where I've something like that with her has, been what I experienced, but other spectral forms, I guess, ghosts or what have you, that I've seen over the years, usually standing around my bed,
Mhm.
different, or even just different energy forms, sometimes in pretty clear form. I think one of the first was a young child back in Canada when I was still living there. It was like a young girl, maybe about, I don't know, 9 years old, perhaps. Almost, I think, as I recall, it's like old fashioned type clothing. Could have been like somewhat dated, like an old dress, farm dress or something like that. Who's to really say? I mean, that was my impression, at least. And yeah, just let out a yell, kind of borderline scream, actually. You're like, what the fuck, man? Ah! You know, hey,
Mhm.
hey, ah, whoa. So I don't know. I think Sonia would probably. This is kind of more her wheelhouse than anyone's, presumably. But what's your take on all this, Sonia? Even like with energy, like balls of light and
Hmm.
energy that
She gets
people
spooked.
people
I don't know
witness
what
and
that was.
perceive. I've seen writing appear as well, like this ancient writing appear on one occasion on the
Well, You've
wall
you've
next to us here,
you've
where it
talked
looked like Martian or something
you
other
talked to you
strange.
talked to Sonia about death though before, haven't you?
About death?
Yeah, like she's something else, dude.
Oh, you mean like
Like
like orgasm? You were
no
talking
death.
orgasm?
Let her tell you.
Well,
Freaking
well,
let
that.
her tell you.
Well, that's what the French
Wow.
call death. It's le petit mort. The orgasm is the little death.
Like
Right. It's kind
You
of a
know.
different story, but
It
yeah,
seemed to
heard that
me I
before. Yeah.
perceived this. Okay, hang on. Sorry, it's the same thing that we did with. It's one of these wonky things that we've got to work out with
Wonky.
wonky
Wonky.
on Facebook, similar to Telegram. Go ahead. Let's hear what you've got to say about death and what's he driving at
Oh my
exactly.
gosh, that's such a big topic. I'm really not sure exactly what Roger's driving at. He's always a mystery, which keeps him so so sought after, I think, as far as the podcaster community goes.
Okay, Roger,
He
what do
is.
you
You never know what he's going to say.
Roger,
So,
what are you getting at, man? And
Well,
let set her
well,
straight.
last time I got into a conversation with Sonia about death, she told me that she feels that death is you don't have to die. You're actually being tricked into dying.
Oh, okay. And Yvonne's got his hand up. But finish your thought then, Sonia. Do you know what he's getting at
thank you.
now? You don't have to
I
die?
do. I do. Yeah, I do. Well, everything's a belief, right? And as within, so without kind of thing. And it's, if you ask me, it's like one of the biggest tricks of all is, or, deceptions of all is to, because folks around die. We're told that that's what you have to do. It's, and especially how other people's energies interact with your own kind of thing, like in the ethers. For example, like if you're ill or you're in the hospital or something like that, and say the doctor tells you, oh, you got so many days to live. If you believe that, and we've all heard stories like this, but if you believe that, then that's gonna happen for the most part. Chances are, especially then when you have everyone around you, feeling this way, or believing this is going to happen to you. Even if you do get better, I mean, there's a good chance that you will still die because everyone believes it as well as yourself, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So there's that. There's so many different aspects to this whole mind con or control thing, because it's really what it is, I think. Even just aging, and this is coming out too about aging, and as far as, and it's not like you can simply believe, oh, I'm 16 and you're just going to be 16. Obviously, that's not how it works. You have to be some sort of a guru or master of your reality in order to have these things occur. But there are some people who, if they have the belief, I guess you could say, or um, the understanding of how things work, and they don't have all these other compounding type of things in their belief system that force this thing to happen, then you can actually look younger or even feel younger, and there's people who are like 200 years old in the world. Go ask them. I mean, there's obviously, if you ask me, as far as how long I've been looking into the mind control thing, and belief systems, and all the false shit that's out there, and all these examples we have, it's that's the conclusion I've come to, is that it's kind of a choice, and I could go into many other aspects of that, but like I said, it's probably a whole show in itself. So
Well, I'll try to keep it real simple. Real simple, straightforward question. Do you know what the leading top number one cause of death is?
Pain,
Huh?
uh,
Pain?
pain.
No, no, no.
malpractice.
No, no. That's up
Heart,
there. That's up there for
Yeah.
sure. Malpractice, yeah.
heart attack.
Preventable
Wait a
death.
minute, surgery.
No,
You said
that's
this
Radon
no.
before.
gas.
Yeah, I've said this a few times. You're poor students, most of you.
Oh wow.
So, yes, but
Yeah, it was something to do with surgery, though, wasn't it?
well,
Where they mess up in surgery?
malpractice is a leading cause. Yes, there's no doubt about that, a contributing factor. But the leading cause of death, and it's not just a recent thing. It's been this way all
Not
down.
breathing, not
You're
breathing.
getting closer now. It's been this way down all through history.
I know you said something like this. It's a trick question. I know this is a trick question now that I'm
The
No,
heart
thinking
and
no,
about
it's
it.
not
lungs.
really a trick question. It's a straightforward logic. Yvonne, what did you say? What was? Do you want to take a
The
shot?
heart and mind stop.
Well, that's I guess that's how you describe things. Yes, but the leading cause of death, of course, is birth.
Oh God, yes, I've heard you say this. I knew it was something like that.
Didn't
I knew it
John
was.
Cleese say life is a sexually transmitted disease?
No, I don't. Maybe that's a funny thing to say. There's yeah.
Can I say something quickly? I'll be first, happy birthday, Sonia. Hope you have a good day or had a good
Thank you
day.
very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I might have. You're welcome. I might have said it before, but if I didn't, Jaffe, my deepest condolences, the death of your mother.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a long time coming.
My
Thank you.
friend John Rimmett, my mom died a while back. He suggested something that I found really helpful. I don't know if you'd like it or not, but he said in the morning, what I did was I would get up and I'd take a candle, a photo of my mom, and I'd put it on the coffee table. I'd light the candle, and I just sat in front of it for 10 minutes, first thing in the morning. And I just breathe and look at the photo and think of my mom, happy thoughts, kind of Reiki or something, and just meditated and felt what I felt, whatever mood I was in, just felt it. Said something if I felt like it. And I did that for about a month. And I found it helpful, like just saying goodbye that way, just having a photo, lighting a candle, staring at the flame, staring at the photo, flame, photo. Anyways, for what it's worth, uh, you might find it beneficial. I don't know, but and death is very mysterious, and we're all living on borrowed time, and each day is a gift, and we need to live in the present. Thanks.
Right. Well, sounds good. I actually did set something up when she passed away, something very similar. We have like a little shrine here. And so I put something together. We wrote down the time, well, the date of her birth, where she was born, and then where she passed away and on what date, and got the wife to dress it up with a little bit of artwork and whatnot, and added a little gate para samgate bodhi svaha, which is from the Heart Sutra, which uh, basically the essence, the core of that teaching, from what I understand, deals with how form is emptiness, and emptiness, form. Form is emptiness, emptiness, form. The top leading number one cause of death, birth. With no birth, no death. No death, no birth. So you're born into this world. We're all born to die. And as I guess Yvonne pointed out, yeah, it's like running on borrowed time, and let's try to do what we can to make the most of it. And I would argue produce as much good karma as possible, because who the hell wants to keep coming back in a worse predicament than before, where we end up passing away, looking back and kind of kicking ourselves for not having done as well as we could have, you know, uh, in helping, not just working with our own, improving our own lives. Of course, that's a pretty selfish way of looking at an approach, but reaching out and helping others. So I often think about the times in my life where I could have done more to help people, even just a small in a small, smallest kind of example, really, where I instead maybe for whatever reason, chose not to. Sometimes they can get you into trouble too. Don't forget. So you got to be careful. There's no doubt about that. But you can also be we can be a little too overly careful, cautious, and neurotic when it comes right down to it. So, yeah, I don't want to be. I'd rather be, cultivate and reap good, positive karma than not. After all is said and done. And does everybody know what the word karma means?
Matter.
Hmm?
A matter. Just one hot mama.
Nope. Nope.
Karma love.
Oh no, not really. I mean, that's a name, yeah, but the I guess this would be a verb.
Yin and yang is just karma, basically. So
No, well, kind
for
of, but
every
not.
action, there's a reaction.
Yeah, just one word though is what we're looking for here.
Consequences.
Close. Action.
Oh, action. Yeah, good call.
That's all it
It's
means.
even better.
Don't credit me. Just look to the Sanskrit. That's what the experts say. I'm not making this. It's not my own version of you know of how it breaks down. That's what has been said. Thus have I heard, right? And that's just action, 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 action. Yeah, there we go. So, anyways,
Yeah.
but all right.
Hey, by the way, Jeffy, I
Yes.
got Ethel Merman here. Happy birthday to Sonia.
Okay. Let's
Come in, Ethel.
Ethel.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sonia. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Thank you, Ethel.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm blushing.
It's a pretty gay Ethel. You know, not retarded.
Aren't they all gay?
Well, at least she's not retarded. Not retarded, but definitely gay. How about that?
Which Ethel, actually, was that? There's a couple of them. You talking about the old Ethel on the black and white TV shows?
Ethel Merman, yeah.
Yes. Cool. Good call, man.
What was she best known for, anyways?
Well, I believe Ethel Merman, she's the same one that was on Petticoat, right?
Could have been, yeah. She had that really, I don't know. I'm not an expert on mermanology, as much as Vinny here is. So, yeah. But you mean Petticoat Junction, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That goes back a few years. Definitely. I mean, that's long before. And when did that come out? That was like a big deal in the late 60s.
Petticoat Junction, yeah.
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 She's
Oh wait, no, Ethel Merman was the one on Lucille Ball. I just had to check it out.
could have been, and she also she guested on the Muppets, if I'm not mistaken. I think she did. You could check that out as well. Zane Ivy here. Let's give a shout out to the people who are tuning in, checking out the show via the Peanut Gallery and beyond. Zane Ivy just saying that he came in, wondering who died. And actually, we're kind of limited.
Hey, Zane, love you, brother.
Limited in that area this week, as far as I can see. There's not too many to speak of, other than the young Ukrainian lady who was stabbed on the train. So many just average, everyday, salt of the earth, normal people like such as ourselves, who you never hear about, of course. It's just the big name celebrities that really make the news in a major way, of course. But we're talking about my mother passing in January, and this young lady on the train, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's people being born and dying with every breath we take on this earth. I'm endlessly fascinated by that, actually. How, there's people making love, right? There's people using the bathroom. There's people doing very naughty things that they shouldn't be. Speaking of karma in the negative sense, and there's others that are just, I don't know, man. Like, and I think there's probably miracles taking place as well, like just spectacular beyond what you would think could even be possible. Just magic occurring, which is, almost in the realm of the paranormal or supernatural, I guess. That we just take for granted. The conspiracies taking place each and every day, each and every minute, frankly, around the world, and most of which we have no idea of. Just, we've all seen those iceberg memes by now, I guess, right? So just think about how much we never even come to get to the point of becoming conscious of. So David Wilkes, along with Zane, of course, and we've got, I thought I saw Svetlana over on D Live, along with DK Spiracy. Got a whole host of lurkers, as what we're pretty much accustomed to by now. Sign in, folks. Choose one of these platforms to sign into and have your voices heard. Unleash, let us know what your thoughts and comments happen to be, what questions you have on your mind. And speaking of which, Vinny has got his hand raised. You were going to talk about that young lady on the train. That's been making some pretty big news. We'd like to look at other, lesser known stories as well, but this, simply because the media has its agenda, but this is it is a big story, obviously.
Well, it's strange that the media ignored it completely until about yesterday, right? When it exceeded their non-coverage, and they had to say something about it.
What do you mean by that exactly? How does that? What do you mean exceeding non-coverage?
Well, remember the George Floyd murder, right? That whole serpent in the rainbow game, right? They paraded that all around.
Serpent. I'm sorry. Hang on. Sorry to interrupt. Serpent in the rainbow. To clarify, because I'm sure there's listeners out there that are wondering, like, what is this? What does that mean? I'm not familiar with the term.
Well, I call the George Floyd event the serpent in the rainbow psyop, because remember, George Floyd's not even dead. He's a Mason.
That's true.
And he's been seen alive.
His family were all Boulay, were they not?
Yes.
Boulay Masons.
And if you remember the movie The Serpent in the Rainbow with Bill Pullman, you remember that he was looking for a zombie drug. And eventually, in the movie, he was administered a zombie drug, which put him in a state of death for a short time. Then he was revived.
So you're saying this was all staged and orchestrated?
Completely. Remember Chauvin and Floyd knew each other for 17 years.
So where is this cop now then? That's right. They knew each other for quite some time, it seems. Where is this cop now then? The white cop, Chauvin.
Purportedly he's in jail.
Okay, but think about, I thought there was talk about him being paroled or released, but also look at his name, like Chauvin, like as in chauvinistic.
Well, pretty much all the names give them away, right? All the names that they use.
Was he a Mason as well?
The French name.
A lot of cops are. A lot of cops are Masons. I'm not sure if he was or not. Be interesting, well worth looking into. What does it mean, Yvonne, Chauvin? What does that mean in English then?
I don't have a clue.
Okay, but it is a French name.
It's just a name.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, and if that's the case, he's got roots in the maybe Acadian family ties. Then perhaps just a guess, call it a hunch, but it would, given what you pointed out there. But uh, go ahead, Vinny. Let's hear more because we only got a few minutes, like 5 minutes. They're going to be shutting us down. We're gonna have to cut away to commercial break. But
Right.
got the floor.
So once again, they played his so-called death scene all over the place, right? So we had that summer riots back in 2020,
Summer of
right?
Love.
But this event, they pretty much kept quiet, right? If you do a media search for the amount of times that they talked about George Floyd as opposed to Irina Zatruska, right? It's a vast difference in numbers.
She was a big. I just heard today too that she had Black Lives Matter paraphernalia all around her apartment.
Yeah, which is probably why she went and sat by that idiot thinking that she would be safe, right? It was exactly the opposite situation.
Maybe that it was a good way to possibly that for like a hookup with the guy or something.
Imagine that, huh? Imagine that.
But
Talk about fatal attraction, huh?
Did you hear? I'm not sure if you did. I kind of bounced this off you briefly during the pre-show, the web tech, the audio end of things, as we normally try to do, even though we were running at least 20 minutes late. But that being, whatever the case may have been, that the FBI supposedly, I think this is according to Alex Jones, it caught him with, I guess, a space that he launched over on X, and discussing how the FBI had picked up at least two messages or statements that he made where he's saying the white girl is dead, or I got the white girl, or either of that.
Well, that was in one of the newly released videos that they put out.
But
he said out loud.
But the FBI actually, how did the FBI get their hands on that before?
Well, you have to wonder. Well, think about this, right? Did you know that in 32 states in the United States, they elect magistrate judges who have no juris doctor. In other words, they have no real eye to what's legal, and they just let these idiots go. This idiot was let go 13 times prior. He committed 13 crimes for which he was arrested.
This is his 14th, then, was it?
14th. Imagine that.
Okay, so I'd heard 14. Whatever. It's so. But now this was not staged, was it? There's no like the girl is presumably she is like because that
art. We pretty much saw her die on screen from the new footage.
Yeah, because it hit and the Quran apparently. Now Robert Morningstar mentioned something to me yesterday about how the Quran talks about like you target that part of the neck where you penetrate.
Carotid artery.
Right, yes. That's what it's called, is it? And that's you're in major trouble if that's the case.
You pretty much don't survive cuts to that artery. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, and it's a Muslim thing apparently too. I'm not sure if this guy was black Muslim necessarily. He, and how mentally unstable was he? On top of all of this, like, did he think that he was going to evade the CCTV that was, I mean, I'm surprised the CCTV was actually working, that it just didn't mysteriously, it must have been working for a reason, right? It must have been working for a reason. If they wanted to malfunction, trust me, it would have. Do you remember Princess Diana?
Of course.
Guess what happened with all of those cameras that should have been working from the time where she left throughout the course of where the crash was. That I think most of them most of them. The one in the hotel, there's a footage of her in the, I guess was at the elevator, and then at the crash site, there I think could have been there was footage, but everything in between, there. That's how the story
Well,
goes, at least. So
it's just like 7-7, right?
yeah,
The trains, no footage. The one day they could use the footage, they didn't have any. It's just ridiculous.
that was the bombing or the attack in London?
Yeah,
Outside, I remember
that's
the
correct.
Tavistock Institute. The bus ends up outside the Tavistock Institute.
Isn't that amazing? Huh?
Right. We got one more minute here. We're gonna cut. And 9/11, another example. Like, immediately the FBI swoops in and confiscates all the footage of, and the video of mostly,
The
I get,
missile hitting.
it was the Pentagon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, same MO, same modus operandi, with the Kennedy assassination. A lot of those people, they never saw their film was confiscated from the cameras that they had, many of them, and they never saw it again. Don't worry. Oh no, yeah, you'll get it back. Don't we just have a little investigation to do here? Not. So there we go.
Yep.
But all right. Well, be sure to take a look at the talking points. Feel free to chime in with anything you yourselves may have on your own. There we go.
Ahoy, Captain Sinclair.
I'm not sure why that's queuing up like that. That's really odd. Isn't that strange? Nobody touched any buttons there. Just decided to take off on its own. So, all right. Well, a little late with the start to today's live stream. Not exactly Tim Dillon. My God. He's a funny guy. And what the hell's going on here now? Tim Dillon is really a funny guy. And he's gay too, apparently. Can you believe that? A funny, fat, gay guy? How's that even possible? I mean, go figure. By the way, I'm saying that in jest for anyone out there, like YouTube, for example, that's not picking up on that. So, tongue firmly in cheek. Attempted a bad joke, but no, he cracks a lot of people up. Smart, witty, and definitely got his finger on the pulse. Fearless as well too. He's fearless. I guess the truth above all other things. He just wants some clarity to the situation, whatever it may be. So, anyways, who's another Judge Andrew Napolitano? Check out his marriage status. Not that just because you're married doesn't really mean too much, or if you're Republican, there's a powerful core number of homosexual Republicans that support, just who knows, maybe for economic reasons or free market business purposes. They're hard workers and they believe that taxes should be kept to a minimum rather than just freely handing everything over to the feeding the communist agenda and the banksters. Who knows what their thoughts are exactly, why they vote Republican, but they're also many times just more I often think of Jim Neighbors, you know. we Jim Neighbors carried himself uh, not an overly, not that there's anything wrong. If you want to be a flamboyant, you know, freak, you know, queer sense of the word, well, that's your choice, I guess, right? You know, let your freak flag fly. But then again, there's others. I wouldn't even say within that community, but just more just of that sexual persuasion, who they're more modest, you know, for whatever reason. So, and more, maybe more, just more private. And who knows? I really couldn't tell you what makes them tick exactly, but I think I've got more, I don't know, it's like I've got more respect for the quiet ones, I suppose, that aren't such drama queens. So, but once again, you know, if that's the route that you choose, the path that you take, then, you know, decisions. So, all right, let's see if we can queue up what we've got here in support of Red Dragon Herbs and Teas and the Sense Cannabis Collective. Of course, we're always on the lookout and the hunt for uh, new supporters, sponsors of the show, not necessarily the news portion of things, rather the feature productions. And, you know, if we get really fired up here at some point, manage to reckon it's worth our while, we could even relaunch Late Night in Korea. So, but as it is right now, Friday night feature shows are mostly what we're interested in potentially picking up sponsorship support uh, for behalf of what we're doing over there on that end of things, anywhere between 3 to 4 times each and every month. Who do we got there? Wilco, I guess. Right on, Wilco. Some really great music those guys put together. No doubt about that. Unit 731. Why is it that we hear so much about the Nazis, but not Unit 731? Has anyone ever taken the time to look into Japan's Unit 731? Pretty reprehensible actions, some pretty reprehensible policies that they pursued. You know, I wouldn't necessarily even leave it to the history books. There's a lot of investigative work that probably still needs to be done, connecting the dots when it comes to everything that has transpired throughout the not only the Second World War, but any chapter or period of history, whether modern or ancient. So, just my 2 cents, folks. And keep in mind, we are strictly here, in case you haven't picked up on this already, for cheap entertainment value and educational purposes. Nothing to do whatsoever with any attempt to present to you formal medical, financial, or legal advice. Just a general disclaimer I'd like to put out there. And that the views and opinions expressed on behalf of myself, the show's host, and our guests do not necessarily reflect those of either the wider listening audience nor the show's sponsors. Speaking of which, Once again, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas. With any order $25 or more, you will immediately receive a 10% discount. Just let Ryan know one of two things, either simply Pirate Radio or Pirate Code. Meanwhile, over on the CannaSense Cannabis Collective front, 5813. 5813 is our general referral link number. Check out all the various wares that they have as part of what they offer. Be sure to get back to us as well. Let us know what you make of it. And, leave your reviews. So, don't touch that radio dial or computer mouse. Mateys, we'll be back here in just a few short minutes.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CannaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CannaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herbs' mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. Choosing from any of their caffeine-free headache relief or rest and relaxation blends, history has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas. We are back with the second part, final segment to this week's edition of World Pirate Radio News. I myself, your host, trusted companion to these high, often intrepid digital seas, Jaffe Ryder, via the southern portion of the Korean Peninsula is where we essentially call home, if you're not including the actual little pirate hideaway, offshore pirate hideaway we've established for ourselves via one of the more obscure coastal area locations. In the meantime, and yes, we've yet to talk about the Hyundai affair, so it's good that we've seen the this slide appear for us here one more time as a reminder of this story, which has been all the rage via South Korea. One government blaming the other, as you can imagine. The Korean government saying that it was the Americans who messed up with their paperwork, while Washington, D.C. claiming quite the opposite. And you've got to keep in mind, for people that have been following the ICE raids on this Hyundai plant out of Georgia, there's still a little, not quite half the original employees are still working there. No problem whatsoever. All their paperwork is in order, but a significant proportion of the employees didn't get things straightened out, did not have things up, to the standards that they were required. They're being sent back to Korea, and I do believe we'll have the opportunity to return. Now, some of my students yesterday saying, "Oh, they're now going to have a criminal record." I don't know. I don't know if it's that cut and dried, really. That if that's how it's all going to shake down, or shake out, or play out. You would think, and this is one of the problems with the way governments function, they're just absurd and irrational. All too many instances. Look at the ostrich farm, the culling of these Canadian ostriches. Just ridiculous. Endlessly doubling down, refusal to take a reasonable, I mean, talk the the worst possible way in trying to win hearts and minds. You gotta stop. Just how can you not stop and shake your head, ask yourself, what are they thinking? Who are they, and whose interests are they really representing? And how can they not, in all too many instances, be regarded as an enemy of the people? You shall know them by their fruits. Judging them by their actions. Like, what the hell are they thinking? What are they trying to do? The ostriches. Utterly ridiculous. Of course, they never can be wrong, can they? Some so very terribly hard-headed, stiff-necked. Anyways, we're going to try to reconnect here with the chat group. We got to invite everybody once again. It's a different format and approach to the way they've got things structured here, unfortunately. So, but what do you expect? What more can you ask for when you get, these technologies provided to you for free? It's what's required to put these live streams together. And we're certainly not picking up and attracting or generating as much as would be necessary in the way of support and donations from you, our listeners, in order to make any difference here as far as upgrading, taking things up to that to the next level as far as the show is concerned. So, steady as she goes, as per the slogan that we have emblazoned on one of our newest t-shirts, courtesy of galacticfire.com. How that reads: steady as she goes. So we'll see who's available here this go round. I believe we've got Vinny back there one more time. We just opened the channel up for you, Vinny. And Mark. Yeah. That's the only letter of the alphabet, you know? Come on, man. Pirates are a little better, more educated than that, aren't they?
Shiver me timbers, lad.
All right. Well, that too. That works. So, hey, speaking of which, bloody hell, I forgot. We've got Talk Like a Pirate Day coming up, and we didn't. We don't have it booked in accordance with that all too critical date. So maybe we can work that a little more into the news. I think it's on September 18th, basically. Which let's see what we're up against there as far as the calendar is concerned.
Next Friday. Not this Friday.
Actually, that'll be next week on Thursday. Is what we're. Oh, I see. Talk like a. Is it the 19th?
Well, let me see. Well, that's right. Do I have the days all wrong? Yeah, right. It should be.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's the 18th or 19th. Pretty sure. So, but and we haven't got too much into. I'm not sure if you heard what I was kind of addressing earlier, but the ice raids, in Georgia, the Hyundai plant, that's big news here in Korea. We have we did tease our listeners a little bit, our audience members, that we would be presumably, addressing that and hashing that over to some degree. So I already covered it somewhat so before reconnecting with you here.
You know, they're in Chicago now too, right?
Oh, more illegal Koreans being busted in Chicago?
They're going after everybody. They got ICE, Homeland Security, and then another organization that's in Chicago now. They've apprehended 3 illegals from Mexico.
Okay, well, but do you know how many illegal Koreans are in America?
All of them.
A lot more than what it seems most people are aware of, or perhaps in all too many instances willing to admit. And it's been that way for years. I've sort of been following this issue from the periphery, as you might imagine, as it applies to Canada as well. Let's not forget, although the government there is just a joke, of course, and they just it's a free for all at this stage, frankly. The rate of illegal immigration is unprecedented. It's completely off the charts. And you know the reason that is, I guess, don't you? Why they're allowing that? Anybody?
Oh, there's no telling what you're going to say, so I'm going to wait and hear what you got to say.
What do you think? Why would you, as a weak, lousy, incompetent government that has nothing better to offer than endless order out of chaos, why would you allow open borders to exist, unprotected open borders?
They're trying to change the Constitution over to socialist government.
Wow. Well, that's
pretty much it.
I don't know about the Constitution. It's just the banking, just with the debt, of course. It's all private bankers, right? And the interest that they're managing to cash in on. So, and then the people pay. It's like they're left on the hook.
They call that supranational governments. Basically, it's the EU's already started all that up.
Communitarianism and private public partnerships. Got a private public. The little people, they're not allowed to do these things, but big shots we can get away with it. The private public partnerships. censorships. Yeah. So that's the way it. No, basically elections. Okay, elections. That's the key factor. But there's so much more, including the fraudulent banking system that they've had in place now for the over 100 years. Even like the federal income tax, just a temporary measure. It's just a
For the rich,
just a
right?
temporary measure. How do you mean?
Yeah.
How do you mean? What do you mean for the rich?
Well, they proposed it for the rich only in the beginning. Remember? That's how they pulled the big switch, because eventually it became everyone.
Oh, the federal income tax.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
But speaking of governments, did you hear that Nepal, not only did they take their government away, just like France? I was reading in the notes, France dissolved their government. Well, Nepal also did, but they burned down their parliament buildings and they threw their politicians in a river.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Well, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, given the history of what Nepal has recently, been up against, what they've had to face. Their whole royal family was massacred, a number of years ago by the royal prince. So I'm not sure where that left them, in a pretty weak position, presumably. But
That's a good question. Yes.
you're aware of
Yeah.
the Maoist rebels that have been fighting, have been armed, equipped, and supported to the hilt by Beijing, right? The Maoist mountain rebels.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to think, who benefits from
Always
this?
have to ask that question.
Well,
Sure.
when's the last time you saw a parliament burnt down? Parliamentary houses burnt down to the ground, and all. I guess they got off pretty easy if they're thrown in the river. They
Yeah.
they were allowed to swim, weren't they? If they knew how to swim, is that right?
I believe so, but I have to see more examples.
Yeah,
I've only seen one.
I heard about something in some big things, unfolding via Nepal. I didn't look into it all that closely. It's really interesting though that just last week, I met someone here who clearly did not look like a Korean. They were working in rewiring a local kind of community center where I have a part-time job, uh, uh, helping adult Koreans with their English, and looked at him and said, "You're not. Are you Korean? You're not Korean, are you?" And he's like, "No, in Nepal." I was like, "Oh," and then I just gave him a nice big namaste,
Yeah.
and he immediately lit up, big grin on his face, and that was about it, I guess, pretty much. But there's another fellow I bump into here from time to time at one of the local kind of corner stores, and non-franchise independent deal, which you don't find too many of, it seems. But uh, he's from Sri Lanka, Ceylon, I guess, but it's Sri Lanka is what they call it these days, and they're pretty Buddhistic as well. And he came in wearing a sari the other day. I've met him a few times now, and he's a really and they're very, once you get them, you say just the right thing, you immediately see like a big smile on their face. They light up inside. It's really quite beautiful, really, the human spirit, the way it can manifest at times. So, you know, joking around or just making light of things and making some small talk. But his name actually, I think it's Chana, which I believe he was. I tease him about this. I've yet to fact check, but because this goes back some years. So you could look at this, Roger. This might interest you.
Right.
Chana being, look up Buddha's charioteer or chariot driver. the one who escorted him outside of the palace. This is how the story goes, right? And then the Prince Siddhartha, he saw that because he led a very sheltered life. His father wanted him to grow up to be a strong, like a warrior. Because there had been a prophecy made at the time of his birth that he would either be a warrior or some sort of holy man of some sort, like a Brahmin. And his father was like, "Oh God, we can't have him a Brahmin. So we'll provide him with all the earthly delights, possibly, women, wine, women, song, shelter him from the outside world where people are suffering and sick, getting old." And
you're talking about Siddhartha, aren't you?
yeah, the charioteer. Was it Jana?
He went by
What was his name?
two or three. It was Siddhartha's loyal servant. His name was Chana,
That's
and
right.
Siddhartha was another one in Sanskrit.
Yeah, Chana. That's right.
Yeah.
So I tease this guy about. He's like, "Oh, that's the Buddha's charioteer." I don't think he kind of understands. Charioteer is not a great word to use. So I do a little bit of play acting and start like whipping my horse, or we're using the reins, the reins of the horse, and that that doesn't take much of that to get people, feeling a little tickled pink. So he lights up with that sort of comment. But very friendly people, yeah, great. And yeah, Nepal, I'll have to look into that a little more. Although the more the backstory, folks, it's not only the Maoist Nepalese, the mountain rebels opposing who knows what, maybe the monarchy as well as the parliament. And you got to wonder, they say that the prince just lost his mind, just went totally insane, lost his mind, and murdered his family. And then I'm not sure if this, as the story goes, turned the gun on himself. That could have been a staged event. Let's not forget, with who benefiting is anybody's guess. But see, and the thing about it too, it's not like I believe everything is a conspiracy, of course, right? Just the important things, So it's not
You,
not
you,
not everything, just only the important things.
you've heard about Buddha's tooth, don't you? Haven't you?
Down in Kandy, Ceylon.
Yep. They've been fighting over that tooth for forever.
Yeah. Well, and you know that there was actually, so the story goes, when he died, his remains. It's really interesting because we received, so they say, that we have part of it that they discovered in this treasure that was hidden, occulted, all part of the apocalypse, folks. The great revealing time of revelation, whether through man-made, the technological means we have at our disposal now, or just the deeper investigation, people managing to connect the dots and see so much of what's been hidden. But there was nearly an ancient war was just it came close to taking place back in the day, narrowly averted, I guess was what I was trying to say. It was quite narrowly averted when Buddha died because they wanted to divide his cremated remains. Like they were fighting over his cremated remains, and one of the reasons is because when you have a holy person, supposedly, that there's certain parts of their body that will crystallize. Like, I don't know if it's the bone crystallizes or what, probably something like that. And rainbows too, let's not forget, which is really interesting when you stop to reflect upon how when Queen Elizabeth died, as say what you like of the woman, in all the awful things that her adversaries, the critics, have, said that there was a double rainbow that appeared over Buckingham Palace right at the time of her passing. And, you know, you could say coincidence, or you could say Operation Bluebeam, or, who knows
Or
what
a transference of energy.
pardon me?
Or a transference of energy.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, she loved her country and her people, I do believe. Like she did not, she was not that out of touch. Like she might not thought much of the lower classes, like the real rabble rousers, right? Troublemakers and the working class, basically. But but she understood, of course, like what it took to make a nation run, and her importance, her place, her role as queen, and the broader Commonwealth. Like that was a pretty, like put yourself in her shoes or in the shoes of any of these other people. Although all too many of them, of course, they're the way that they're with their bloodlines and the psychopathic nature, just DNA, and the way they're conditioned through their schooling, raised as even the likes of, there's some stories people have, talked about regarding Baron Trump. Who knows, as an example, what's even to be made of what's he really like. He seems very, affable, uh, charismatic, and easygoing or what have you. But there's some people you just wouldn't want to get on their bad side. That's for damn sure. So, uh, but the Buddha, yeah, fighting over his these sacred relics and remains, the sati, these crystallized maybe bone fragments, I guess. But you can look this up if you want, folks. It's just spelled, I think, Sari. We have some of them here close to where I live. It's a temple called Midaksa, Midaksa-ji. And so what happened was back in around, I think it was 2010, they were, maybe a little earlier, they were x-raying the original like stone pagoda, which was quite huge. It was a sok top, pretty sizable. A lot of it was collapsing and falling into disarray. I kind of liked it actually, it wasn't too much of an eyesore. That's what they call it sometimes. Uh, Noon apayo, literally meaning my eye hurting. It's an eyesore. Get rid of it. So, but yeah, right in the middle, hidden, buried away, hidden at the bottom of this stone pagoda, where it would be pretty hard to find. And the Japanese didn't, clearly, but they discovered it through X-raying of of the site, and there was a small a vessel, just a container, a vase, really, with some gold plates, and a story written in ancient Chinese, talking about this um, noblewoman's her history and her story, and the story of perhaps maybe her people and the king, and it changed history in a really pretty dramatic way. I guess I don't know much about it, and as far as particulars go, other than just to say they talk about, like, oh yeah, well, the history's settled, or oh, historical revisionism. Well, duh. I mean, come on. It's like, or scientific revisionism. Well, duh. That's the whole point. That's you endlessly, scientific studies and so-called conclusions, and that theories need to be revisited and reassessed, and maybe they remain fixed and in place for sometimes hundreds of years. But there's so often, have we not found, with history as well, historical claims and narratives that they change because of new discoveries, new revelations, and what greater time for that to be the case than this current period we find ourselves a part of, the meta-modern apocalypse. Nothing to get too freaked out over, folks. Just it's a revealing, pulling back of the veil. Things that in the past were hidden now can be more clearly seen. It might freak out those who have something, you know, they've got there's a stake in it. They've got something to lose, basically, with the truth coming out. Yeah. So that could set off a whole chain of events that maybe a lot of us aren't prepared for. And I think that's partly what we saw with the corona apocalypse, and even the war in the Ukraine, Gaza. God only knows what
Robert's in
else they've got.
Robert's in the chat room, so
Who?
Robert Morningstar, he's in the chat
Oh,
room.
is he? Shit,
Yeah,
we never called
he
him up.
started typing.
Ah, okay. Well, let's call him up and see what he's got to offer. So, let's get more into this. Just kind of double back, or I think our listeners might feel cheated. The Hyundai plant in Georgia, ICE raids, Koreans. What more can we really say?
475.
That's right. There,
No.
although the Korean people here are being told only 300.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but I mean, look, I've got to have my paperwork straight here in Korea. I've got an F5. Got had to renew my passport recently, and things are all, I've got everything worked out for the next 10 years or so, and thank God I'm married to a Korean. Maybe they should find American wives. I don't know. Just but once again, it's the blame game, which is something that Korea knows. I mean, if there's one thing Korea knows all too well, it's the blame game, and pointing fingers, and gaslighting as well. So we don't see Robert. We're inviting him, but he doesn't seem to be responding. Maybe someone can type to him that he's got to pick up the call, or that we're trying to contact him, but he's not connecting with us here for whatever reason. Hey, now is that a real scene there out of Faulty Towers? Any other Faulty Towers fans in the audience? I don't recall ever seeing that one with the woman who worked there as the like chambermaid type roles, what she played. They were actually married, her and John Cleese, at the time. So Polly, I think, was what her
He
character
just
was.
Robert just left you a message. He said to tell you that he waited for the call, but he has another commitment in Montana at
Oh
1
yeah.
a.m.
I got that's right. Yeah. So we weren't calling him in the first hour anyways. We always call him in the second because he's usually busy. So anyways, all right. Well, anything more than to now you did say a little bit as far as there's a lot more illegal Koreans living, Korean prostitution is a pretty big deal from what I understand. In the West, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
they've got going on there. Whereas what recently unfolded out of Georgia, it's mostly men that are their lives are being impacted. But Korean prostitution, hell yeah. So I think this really sends a pretty clear message, though. What about the timing, though? Think about how Lee Jae-myung and Trump were just meeting in the White House the week prior, you know, talking about touting all the business deals that they'd worked out, and what sort
I
of
don't know.
impact?
I just don't trust Homeland Security. I never trusted them from the day after they set it up with the whole concerns over 9/11.
Right.
It's a very, very um, suspicious organization. It always has been. So
The homelands will be protected, yeah?
yeah, that's
We
exactly
will.
it.
No more Reichstag fires, no more 9/11, yeah? We can watch very close any suspicious activities.
Mhm. And you go to look at their main page on the website, and it looks like freaking poster board for the SS. I mean, it's completely insane. Like they should be responsible considering they're government institutions now. But it's like you go on there and they look like they're selling freaking tickets to the freaking Nazi freaking Lollapalooza and shit, you
Oh, yeah.
know?
Oh,
Like,
honestly, I haven't, tell you the truth, recently dropped by their page or any other high profile government agency as of late. If I need them, I'll call them. Other than that, just, yeah.
I had to do that when I was doing Untethered with Mark and Mr. Robot, and they both decided that be it'd be good for me to actually start talking about all this trendy freaking politics. So I decided I was going to do it, and I mean it was interesting. I haven't done it in a long time, but I didn't like the feeling. I hate today's politics. If that's what you want to call it, you can call it politics. I call it just garbage, like ethno-national bullshit.
It's
Un-
just mudslinging now. That's all it is.
Yeah,
ethno
ethno.
nationalism. What you mean? Like what is Israel has
Exactly.
been
Israel's.
practicing, and
It's
that's why the
no. It's
Nazis really kind of got
Israel,
along with them so well.
Palestine.
It's like you have your space, your Lebensraum, your
You know,
living space over there. We'll have ours. Keep the ratio stay. It's a place.
you turn the
Close.
news on and it's about ethnic groups and freaking gender identity, dude. Come
Well,
on, sir.
but
You know,
that's
come on.
well, that's the identity politics agenda. I
That,
mean, you don't. Why get sucked into it? Don't fall for it. Don't
That's
take
my
the
whole
bait.
point.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. And that's all it is. I mean, it's not even politics. Like it's not real. It's just garbage, you know?
Uh huh.
And we've got to just take it and turn it off. Don't get caught up in that shit. It's like everybody's talking about all this crap happening over in England, you know? It's like freaking why don't you look at England, all right, and how staunch they've been to their own people when it comes to regulations and laws, you know. And then whenever something serious happens, like the crap going on there now, they just fall apart. You know, their
Uh,
police officers can't even handle the deal.
well, how about
It's like, I mean, this is England. You know
well,
what I mean? They're the
well,
ones that came up with police force.
they're the ones
You
that
know, the
also
pill
came
reforms.
Magna Carta.
Yeah. You know, and they can't handle freaking the situations that are going on in their own country. This is England, dude. You know,
Well, it used to be.
well, it used to be. Yeah.
I've got friends that left the country 25 years ago because they saw what was in the works on the horizon.
Crazy.
Hmm.
I mean, they can't even actually, they don't have even a good law enforcement You know what I mean? And they're the ones that coined the whole thing where police officers should be seen. You know what I mean? They should be actively seen in public.
Bobby's on the beat.
hmm
Mm.
And now it's a joke.
Why is that?
Well, look at, first of all, what's going on over there. And then second of all, look at the way they're doing things now. It's like they're all in squad cars. They're not walking the beat like they used to.
Probably if
They're
they're
getting not
too worried about getting attacked by machete wielding maniacs. That
that's their
you
job.
know, how many boats? How many boats a day now making the channel run? Here's the thing. Let's start from the beginning, okay? And even like G&B News, as much as you could say that, oh well, the coverage they put together, it's worth listening to, that it's quality analysis and so forth. That I've yet to hear them say say the term or reference the Kalergi plan even once. Not one time. Sky News Australia, same thing. I'm not sure why that is, but one of the common denominators that they both have going on is that they're diehard pro-Israel supporters. They're totally unapologetic Zionist networks, and almost as if there's no other side to the story. Just a blind refusal to acknowledge the human suffering and misery and the carnage. Just the human toll. Which, truth be told, we're looking at 250,000 people now. There's so many people missing in Gaza, and most, of course, are women and children. That's, I think, that's, I don't know, how can you dispute that? I don't think there's, well, if you're an Israel or, IDF spokesperson, of course, they always have ways of trying to
Well, you're just an
manipulate.
anti-Semite, young man.
Well, that's an ad hominem attack is all that is. And so many people in the media, they're way more smarter than probably any of us here are. Uh, not don't not that should be intended. No one take that personally, but at the same time, they don't stay like stop these people in the tracks saying, well, that's an ad hominem attack. Is what you've got, and on top of that, the term itself is meaningless. It's
Right.
actually it's a really it's a kind of a lousy approach and strategy, actually, because when you take a few moments to deconstruct it, it's like anti what? And first of all, why need anyone be pro anything by default? Like you required by law. And that's what America has got to now. They're trying to force and promote this false concept on people, because I guess maybe people have been so dumbed down and conditioned and programmed through the years that they don't stop to think and realize that actually the people of Gaza are Semites. In fact, they're indigenous Semites, as opposed to the interlopers, the European-based Ashkenazis or Ashkenazis. That's just a coincidence too, that Nazi business, right? Or not. But that they've been brought in from where they were, Eastern Europe and the Ukraine, the Khazarian mafia, to settle in Palestine, and under the Rothschilds, Lord Balfour's letter and declaration, as it's so often known, that, but over the, with the, really, it's the Rothschilds who largely have been the driving force behind the whole Zionist project. really completely nothing to do anything with religion, although that can be helpful. It can be very helpful when you're trying to promote a political agenda. If you can get the religious freaks on board, definitely. Theodore Herzl, not a religious man. He was an ethno-nationalist. He was a secularist as well, atheist, frankly. So, but with an ethno-nationalist agenda that he was working to help to promote and get off the ground, back in the day. They're just, we look, come on. Obviously, we live in a world of lies and absurdities, and it's. I wouldn't get too, God, just God grant us this. Oh, Sonia hates this one. Somebody grant us the serenity. Get the serenity from wherever it is we can call upon it to God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, because of just the endless insanity that and confusion throughout the world, going back, speaking of confusion, to the whole Semitic nonsense. It's like a bait and switch almost, isn't it? Really. So most Semites are not Jewish. Well, most Zionists are not Jewish either. But a lot of people don't. It doesn't seem to register in their thick skulls because I don't know. They don't care. They haven't stopped to think about it. They just mindlessly repeat, absorb, uh,
Regurgitate.
whatever it is that the dinosaur legacy media, the talking points that they have to offer, and leave it at that. So,
Well, remember what I said before, right? Remember Tom Andreevich was caught trafficking in a trafficking sting in Vegas, right? He was one of 8 people, but he was the only one let go,
that was recently in the last couple of weeks. Is that right?
right?
Okay.
So
And
so if I were to accuse him of what he was like, held for him to tell me that I'm an anti-Semite in return is ludicrous.
well, it was an underage.
Underage child trafficking sting, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying. Well, how was it trafficking though? Like, wasn't he was trying to hook up with someone who online was like it's like To Catch a Predator. Who is that?
Yeah, it was a decoy that stated they were 15 at the time.
What is
Of
that
course,
classic series that?
It's that one you
Hi,
always pick on me about with Hanson, to
yeah,
catch
to
a
catch a
predator.
predator. You said it.
Yeah,
Yep.
his last name is Hansen, isn't it?
Chris Hansen.
yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
Chris
Chris
Hansen.
Hansen.
Okay, all right. I don't know if I pick on. Why would I
Yeah,
pick on you?
it's like when you take a look at that. Okay, I said this stuff back when P Diddy was being put on trial, and they did the same thing with Epstein. Um, they want to try to set precedent and say that it was like sex slavery and stuff like that, and it's what you're talking about right there. Like it was actually trying to solicit a teenager to have sex, or like that. It wasn't sex trafficking or any of this other stuff, but they wanted to set a precedent, and they knew damn well that that was not going to freaking be prosecuted in court. That's
Okay,
why P. Diddy got off with 20 years. That means he only has to serve 10% of his time. He can get out in 2 years on good behavior.
there's more coming his way though. Apparently, too. I don't think the legal system, not to be confused with the justice system, two separate
Yeah.
things, folks. Don't fall for it. Because the legal system, there's so little justice to any legal system that I've ever heard about or seen or known about whatsoever. That justice is, it's a pretty high, lofty principle that there's too little justice to any legal system that we have, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't. They're not finished with P Diddy yet, it would seem. But also with this Israeli, and here's another thing too, that yeah, as with the dancing Israelis under Michael Chertoff, who, if you ever put those two side by side, you ever notice the strange kind of spooky resemblance between him and Vladimir Lenin, Michael Chertoff? Wow,
And
it's
Gollum.
who? Oh, Golem?
Yeah.
Don't know about that, but you mean
Looks like Gollum.
Lord of the Rings?
No, he's talking about the
My
actual person.
precious.
He's talking Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no. But whatever, if that's fine, if that's how you see it, it's okay. But Israel, I guess, is the one of the few, if not the only, countries in the world that does not prosecute underage or sex trafficking in general, I think. And you know the reason for that? Why they don't prosecute sex trafficking?
I couldn't imagine what that would be.
Well, I can. I think I've heard some rumblings regarding these matters, some general assertions. The reason is because Israel, so the story goes, is the world's number one sex trafficker on the planet. Look no further than Israel, man. Probably adrenochrome too, truth be told. And let's not forget about what the underneath the Knesset with all this the hanky panky, the sex abuse. And this is usually they abuse and target the goy. It seems, the non-Jewish, the Gentile goy, who, according to Talmudic teachings, and that's one of the reasons it's such an evil, horrific tradition.
Well, that's a Bible, you goyim. How dare you?
Well, the Talmud is it's a rabbinical commentary and an analysis tradition, is it not? I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Well, I was going to mention their holy book says that you can have sex with children 3 years and 1 day of age.
That's not the Torah. Correct, it's the Talmud. See, that's why you've got so many religious Jews. They don't support Israel, and they don't support the Talmud, and they're not lunatics or maniacs. They're not Sabbatean Jews either that have bought into and really probably been raised. So it's like, what choice do you have, right? Some have escaped and got out of it. These kind of satanic Jewish, the influence and spheres, as they find themselves growing up and a product of. But it's horrific, and it's terrible that the true Torah Jews. I mean, kudos to them. It's respect. They haven't inverted. They're not trying to go out of their way to turn everything on its head, as far as, like, most of us have a built-in, do we not, like a moral conscience and compass that when it comes to killing, lying, stealing, sexual immorality, getting too messed.
Christians are just as bad, dude. I mean, I hear people talking all the time about how great Christianity is, dude. I've doing all the research I've done in history, I've found nothing but murder, bloodshed, and just destruction when it comes to the Christians. They're just as bad, if not worse.
Well,
I mean, when it comes to these religions, that's the reason why I believe in spiritual principles, but I will not support any religion
Mm-hmm.
because all they are they're justification for murdering people who aren't the way you are, and that's all they are. If
Uh,
you want to justify killing somebody, just become somebody who's high up in one of the 4 or 5 religions, and you can do it. You're allowed to.
which,
Just pray to your
yeah,
God, and you're forgiven.
right. Which religions?
Any of them doesn't matter.
Well, like which ones?
Buddhist, Hindu,
Buddhists.
freaking Christian.
Buddhists aren't known for murdering people, are they?
They had a very, very bad situation happen between them and the Hindus in India for quite a long time.
When was this?
This was back, well, actually, it was started back during the 40s or the 50s, right? Whenever um, uh, there's that Buddhist sect that tried to start a national movement.
1940s, 1950s?
Yes.
Wow,
We
I had no idea. Okay, let's hear more.
And then, like now, Buddhists are trying to say that Muslims are coming into India trying to kidnap their women or seduce
No,
their
no,
women
no,
into
no,
marrying
no,
them
no, no.
and having sex with them and
That's.
kidnapping them
I'm
and
pretty
shit.
sure you're thinking Myanmar, not India.
No,
Myanmar,
well, it's happening big time over there in that area.
Bangladesh,
Yeah, they're
right?
making claims like that.
Is it Myanmar, Bangladesh? No, no, no. It's not Bangladesh. Myanmar, formerly known as what the hell do they call that? Ah, bloody hell! I should know. What was Myanmar? The original name, Myanmar. It's today known as
Um,
Myanmar, right? You remember, like, oh God Almighty. Anyways, they have, yeah, like they don't tolerate the Muslim
Burma.
Burma. Thank you. Yeah, is it Myanmar today, or it's Myanmar today,
Yeah,
formerly Burma,
right,
but
right.
they don't, and I totally I support them as well. Not with the skillful means. You see that you hear in Buddhism constantly. Skillful means practical wisdom. Skillful means practical wisdom. Well, when you have someone who is entering your country or your house, you don't have open borders, and you don't just freely allow anyone to come wandering or traipsing in. That's historically what's known as warfare and invasion from a foreign nation or foreign entity, a foreign tribe. And why we're seeing this embraced throughout the West, Canada, uh, Australia, all of the Commonwealth, really Europe as well too. U.S. is the only counterexample, thank God, because of Trump. But once again, going back to why it is that they don't, not once, I challenge, and I think others should start challenging too. And we do have an impact out here. We started talking about the war on humanity. Suddenly, I find in social media, suddenly they catch on. Oh yeah, it's the war on humanity. Um, there were other examples too, not just like with the kill shots, but there were other little things that we were going on about that. Finally, it's like you see, it's like, oh, they're gaining wider currency. Where did we first hear about these little catchphrases? It'll probably come to me by next week. I'll make a note of it. There's another big one, though, not just the war on humanity. So, but the Kalergi plan, the frickin' Kalergi plan. Not once have these jerks, GB News out of England, Britain, and Sky News Australia. I think, are they both Rupert Murdoch entities? Could be. They're both they're rabid. Pro-Israel though, and just like ultra Zionist. So,
Well, speaking of that, I'm
not
sure you
once.
heard about the seven AFD candidates dying
Oh,
last week.
14 now. Apparently, that region is like
14.
14. When's the last time you heard of 14 candidates in any is a national election just dropping dead? What would happen if we found that taking place in America or Canada during the course of wouldn't people be like, once is a mistake, twice a coincidence, three times?
Did they say what they died from?
No, they're covering it up. The cops.
They're pretty much covering it up.
Their
Yeah,
cops
they're
are
saying natural causes.
Oh,
which is a lie.
they're refusing. Yeah, they're refusing to report on it.
Well, Jaffe, you bring that up. Remember last year, 37 candidates died in Mexico to get Claudia Sheinbaum.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They were supporters of hers or opponents?
Opponents.
What? So from really from the party that was challenging her candidates. Now what
the parties? Yeah.
Zane had a great point that he made last week. We got to take a look at the comments here before we wrap up. We've only got about 10 minutes or so. From just kind of what I can see here, basically. But he talked about Carlos Slim, that Sheinbaum, she is Jewish, and she is an example, I guess, of someone who, even though whether religious identity or ethnic identity, however, and she's probably Sephardic too, because that's the big influence down there in Mexico and the southern, and this all comes through the brethren of the coast. Let's not forget too. They were the Sephardics. They weren't the Ashkenazis. It was the Sephardics who really made inroads to the West from the beginning, the settlement and, development of the New World. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. It is up to our listeners to set me and our guest speakers straight here where we do stray. Not that I hope that none of us are here intentionally to mislead anyone. Our reputation, of course. I mean, my reputation.
Well, yeah, that's funny, Jaffe. I got a comment this morning on the video that Trump put out about vaccines, and someone accused me of faking the video. Like I'd waste time doing that. It'd be so easy to figure out that I made up a video. I'm here to document stuff. I'm not here to make up news, right?
What?
I'm pretty sure, like everyone else here.
What did they say regarding what video?
Where Trump is now questioning the efficacy of
vaccines.
Oh,
He's kind of shifting, taking a new tact. Well, he sees the writing on the wall. Same with Israel, I guess. According to Robert, what he shared with me in our conversation yesterday on the Morning Star Report, that a lot of these so-called Christian Zionists, they're coming to their senses, and it doesn't take much. Like, you got to ask yourself, like, it's just not only what would Jesus do, but what does your heart tell you? You're human, aren't you? We have this.
Right, what are they supporting?
We have a human conscience.
Genocide is insane.
Like, come on, ridiculous. You know what? And if it was the Israelis who were being murdered in those kind of numbers.
Oh, the tear jerking.
No,
right? Yeah.
No. I would support I would have sympathy and support for them. Of course.
Well, yes, of course. But there's a lot of propaganda going exactly the other way.
Well, that's just, yeah. But I'm saying that it's a matter of principle. It doesn't matter who they are. It's a fact of, wait a minute, this is a David and Goliath scenario, situation that we're looking at here.
I said it last week. I said it last week too, but like, just don't just include Israel. Freaking everything leads to England, dude. Everything.
Oh no! All roads lead to the Vatican. All roads lead to Rome.
The Vatican. You can say the Vatican all you want, man. But I know that one thing that South America and Israel has in common is freaking England.
Yes. Well, they're all working together. They're all powerful stakeholders and interests that play a part. And it's completely no one people when people get caught up in these arguments, this divide and conquer, right? It's like, no, it's the Vatican. No, it's the Jews. No, it's the Freemasons. No, it's
Hey,
like
Jeffy, you know what we need, Jeffy? We need for Toto to come pull the curtain back so everyone can actually see who's running things. That's what it is.
I guess, yeah, that would okay. That was total his role in the Wizard
And
of
Wizard of
Oz.
Oz.
I
He's a big hero. That's right.
I totally forgot about that, man. Thank you. That's really cool. So we are running out of time here. Before the teams decides to, as once again so unceremoniously shut us down, galacticfire.com is of course our quiet lady of lady of the evening. I'm not sure how if that really sounds the way I like it to. She's the lady of our evening.
Thanks, Roger. Yeah, right.
She's our sexy lady of the evening. No. I will say though, no, honestly though, Sonia, this is the best for whatever it's worth. This is the best you've looked.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yum yum.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying she looks good.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, how many? She looks 2-3 beers. No wedding rings. Like, yeah, I don't know. Hey.
Oh my gosh. Oh well, now I'm blushing again.
Oh, yeah. Not a whole 6-pack or a case, just 2 or 3.
Oh
God.
my god.
Yeah,
You guys are crazy.
Get down to business. Get down to funky pirate business.
Funky pirate business, huh?
She's not our cabin boy. She's our Galactic Fire maiden. So, galacticfire.com. Anything else? This Friday, who do we got? And by the way, on the 27th, we got to reschedule. We have the mother-in-law's 80th birthday coming up. So take note of that. The 26th, rather. We've got to rebook and rework that. We'll talk more about that behind the scenes at some point here. Okay. So, yeah. The wife just dropped us on me last night, but yeah.
Technically, just a thought, guys, but it is an interview. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
this Friday?
No, I mean, it lands on a Friday, right?
Yes.
I mean, you could do an interview and record it and just schedule it in.
No, we're going for
a possibility.
Yeah, but another thing too, another possibility. The way we've been doing things here is that, well, whatever. It's 1 week out of every month that has 5 weeks in it, we take off unless we get more donations coming our way, which to this point, unfortunately, it's dribs and drabs and nothing. Bob Dub, much appreciated. Many thanks to her for her Minds tokens, and there's been a few others that it's been kind of sad and pathetic. Actually, you would think that our audience members, I can't believe they're that poor. They'd be able to say like, "Hey, we appreciate all the content we've been listening to over the years. Here's a virtual coffee or something, at least, So, or here, thanks. Hey, guess like what Alan did. We bought some of your merchandise. We got your T-shirt. We got your coffee mug, and we talked about this when friends come over.
Jeffy's Svetlana accidentally donated like a bunch of, I'm not even sure, like a firecracker. I don't even know what it was, but it totally like cleaned out her bank, everything she had in there on D-Light, that is. So there was like a glitch or something. And
I think we like glitches now, don't we? Did this work in our favor? I don't know. When did this happen? Just now?
Just a little while ago. It was just a little while ago, and the D-Light feed stopped as well. So I don't know what happened there.
Man.
D-Light's having issues apparently. So.
Oh really? Yeah. I see. Okay. Well,
it's always been that way. I'm having issues with it all the time.
Okay, so the Cants Project, Children Are Not Sex Toys, over on BitChute. Yep. That's Vinny.
And then GM No on Minds.
GM No on Minds. Roger Hansen. What the hell does he care? He's just Roger Hansen.
That's right.
You know, if
Keep the faith, man. And I'm gonna tell you,
oh, and you know what? There we go. You're gonna you're gonna tell us. You're not gonna tell us anything. You're gonna have to wait till next week, I guess, because we just got cut off there, and that's the end of the 2 hours essentially of live streaming. I'm gonna follow up here with the comments, however. Thanks once again to our roundtable contributors, Sonia, Vinny, Roger, and I think we also had Yvonne Malenfant from out of Coquitlam, British Columbia, on board this week. So good stuff. As always, mateys, will be sure to add your contact information to the archived end of things as we put this one to bed via Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. It also appears up on YouTube, of course, and Facebook, although those two platforms, unfortunately, they love to censor things for whatever reason. You say one or two naughty little words, and they will have your content removed in no time whatsoever. So here through Restream, we've only got Facebook is where what we're hitting up, and we might just go totally Beam Studio eventually. Although the downside to that is you can't copy anything. The comments cannot be copied, is what we see here. At least we haven't been able to figure that out. It's really quite odd and peculiar. We're gonna comment though, or at least share with you what Zane Ivy's been sharing, what he's been posting via Facebook. Chauvin meaning bald. So yeah, chauvinistic. I don't know, what is it? You're not holding anything back as far as your feelings or sentiments are concerned. That's the thing with Koreans as an example. They're not racist. No bloody way are they racist. There's no such thing as a Korean race. It's a very mixed race. They're chauvinistic. That's a very strong, uh, tendency that you find present within their ranks, their character and personalities. Unfortunately, partly understandable because of the size of the nation, how often they've been attacked from outside forces. You can imagine, if that was you or me, speaking for myself, I'd be pretty defensive as well. So, anyways, also means hairless. Sound like airless, can't breathe. Israel just killed or tried to kill the Hamas leaders they're trying to negotiate a ceasefire with in Qatar. Yeah, we actually touched on that earlier in the show. So it's another setup, is what it sounds like. Another setup. Now, what Trump's response is going to be to that? Didn't the U.S. wasn't it the U.S. that was trying to negotiate this? So we'll see. We'll see. He's going to be questioned, and we'll see what if there's any real hell to pay or not. So definitely been handling Israel with kid gloves, and the MAGA base falling away from Israel now in a big way is what we're hearing. Believe it or not, I'm shocked to have this news presented to me. So, but once again, hashtag WWJD, what would Jesus do? Like, and just as a human, think about it. My God, just utterly ridiculous, absurd, ridiculous, horrific. So, nothing good to say about it whatsoever. All right. Well, there's no need to have it there. Let's see if we can get the slideshow going back up in place. Hyundai plant in Georgia. Yeah, we ended yesterday's adult class with, after all this heady talk regarding what had taken place in Georgia, the ICE raids on the Hyundai plant. Ray Charles, Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find. It's an old sweet song, keeps Georgia on my mind. Something like that, I guess. So Ray Charles does a lot better, obviously. Beautiful, beautiful tune, and a standard kind of jazz swing standard. It's like playing out like South Korea is very hypocritical in this issue. Anyone here see the Charlie Kirk event here in Seoul, blasting the CCP, wokeness, and encouraging Koreans to have kids? Well, and Koreans are having more kids these days. I'm not familiar with the Charlie Kirk event in Seoul. Maybe, did you, Zane, go to see the Charlie Kirk? Was it, I guess, an in-person event? Tell us more. So, I mean, yeah, who doesn't blast the CCP? They suck. I mean, India is a multi-party, parliamentary democracy. Why can't China do the same thing, for crying out loud? So, yeah, I think most of us agree wokeness is a joke. So, what else? I mean, Zane, you had so many great comments here that we never picked up on until now. 50,000 illegal Koreans in California alone. 50,000. Years ago, in one of the Korean English newspapers, saying that there were 50,000. This is years ago, too. That sounds about right. Years ago, 100,000 just in Canada alone. 100,000. So, and now you've got India, you got from Africa, got from South America, Mexico, just, kind of rotating, revolving door basis. When they get tired, of bringing in the Indians, they'll shift gears a little bit back to the Chinese and over to the South Americans, let them start piling in, freely making their way, no questions asked, into the country. Very liberal, hands-off approach. Yeah, and then we're working so hard on solving this housing crisis. We just don't quite understand what it could possibly be. The state of the economy and the cost of living. Why is it that our young people can't find jobs? Might there be other people taking these jobs? It's just so ridiculous and absurd. The whole thing. It's pretty evident and obvious to anyone with that's not gaslighting, essentially. That's being really more open, honest, and direct. Not pulling any punches or trying to bullshit anyone. Nepal has a communist government, No, I didn't know that, actually. Federal Democratic Republic. Well, they're not communist enough for the Maoist rebels, I guess. So, Chana also means chickpea. Okay. Shadi. Sadi. Shadi? No, it's Sadi. Shadi, crystalline, be like, nah. This is after people are cremated. The Sadi. So, don't you think ethno-nationalism is really more real in biological terms than ideal nationalism? Yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not sure if you're talking like multiculturalism. So, like we emerge from tribes, right? Families and then tribes. Everyone, and then when you get to the point, you have a imbalance in power. You mentioned taqiyya down here, of course, too, which is the ignoble lie. The Muslims call it noble. Well, it's similar to the way that in Talmudic tradition, you can lie to the Goy, Gentile. In Islamic, their way of looking at things, that you're fully justified in deceiving the kafir, infidel, if that's what you feel is necessary. The noble lie, the holy lie. So, all right, we're not gonna go over any more of what's left there. Big thanks once again to Svetlana. We'll see what we can do in sending something back. Oh my God! Where did that go? Did that come to us? We got to check our bloody our bank account there on DLive. So, we're stuck basically. It's like people such as yourself and others, and Reverend Jim, who I don't know if we saw this go round. Did he pop up or not on our radar? Not from what we can see, but when he does, often he does drop his diamonds, which is great. But our bank account, our digital bank account, never seems to go anywhere. Now we could link that to an actual. They won't allow it in Korea. It's just it's not easy here, folks. What would happen if we maybe should we have Sonia be our banker? No. Maybe DK Spiracy. Who could we trust more, do you think? DK Spiracy. Let him handle our finances. Yeah, sure. That's bound to be. What could possibly go wrong? So, but thanks to all for dropping by once again. We're going to be here back this Friday night, same time as always, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we like to say, via the west coast of the Americas. 11 out on the east, with Friday night feature show, Boundless Authenticity podcast. Yeah, I don't know. It's not easy being authentic, is it? So many people, we have these false selves, I guess, and false identities. The ego and its shell game, I guess. I think it's really important to make a heart connection. If our heart is in quality condition, that's very critical. Christ talked about that. I believe he was on to something. Buddhism, once again, they talk about the loving kindness, the metta karuna. Metta, if you want to look at the, or even karuna. I think one is Sanskrit and the other is Pali, but anyways, metta karuna. I just like the sound of it. It has really a beautiful ring. And when you say these things, these words that we utter, that we express, and then communicate to a wider listening audience, reaching the ears and the minds of those who would otherwise have never heard or come into contact with these concepts or ideas. It's I just really get a big kick out of it. So hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week, obviously, and remember to take note of our email address, pirateoneradio@protonmail.com. If you have any show suggestions or guest ideas you'd like to have us hear about, PayPal as well. That's the way you do it. That's how you hit us up, folks. Half of everything we do generate as far as charity donations are concerned go directly back to the grassroots. Be sure as well to check out the main website, WPRPN.com. It's been a blast. On behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and all the rest of the crew here down Skullport Harbor, I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer. Reminding you, as always, keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Tally ho.